Hi, Gideon Ariel, Root Source. I'm here together with my partner Bob Odell in Tel Aviv to meet with Gidon or Gideon Sa'ar. Gideon Sa'ar was a minister in the government of Israel. He was a member of the Israeli parliament, the Knesset, the Minister of Education and the Minister of Internal Affairs. And he was the leading member of Knesset in the Likud. And he, some time ago, had a baby boy and left political life for a few years, took a break, and recently has announced that he is coming back into politics, and he's the rising star in Likud politics, or re-rising star. And today we're going to have an interview with Gideon Saar in his office. Come with us and we will hear what he's got to tell us about Jewish-Christian-Israel relations. So that is our website. Besides offering,
so it brings Jewish perspectives, Jewish understanding of the Holy Bible to the side, basically.
100%. I like saying that we're glad kosher for the Jews to access our content. All of our content is developed and given over by Orthodox Israeli, usually English-speaking Jews. But what differentiates our site, as opposed to things like Esha Torah or something like that, is that we are unabashedly aiming towards a Christian audience. Mm-hmm. All the other Jewish sites have Christians standing there like a fly on the wall, pretending that they're not. Everybody pretends that there's no Christians, but sometimes even more than 50% the Christian audience. So we found that audience, we're respecting that audience, and that way we can also build the relationship between Israelis, Jews, and Christians, which isn't really being built when you don't really recognize the existence of one side.
I do think it is extremely important that this Christian Jewish dialogue based on mutual values, with the differences, of course there are differences. Some people have reservations because of the differences. Always thought, and I never changed my mind, that there is a huge potential support out there for our cause among Christian world, among believers. Of course, for any believer, it is much easier to defend our struggle here. We are a very small nation. Great nation, but small nation. We need our friends out there to speak up, to stand with us, as we have so many challenges, forces that are working against us, denying our basic connection to this land, which is the fundamental characteristic of this land. It's the land of Israel. Everyone knows it's the land of Israel.
So first of all, we reach out to the English-speaking Christian audience worldwide. So New Zealand, Australia, to name a couple of countries that have been in the news in the last day or so. But of course America, UK, but then English-speaking in Norway, Germany, Europe, Philippines, Africa, South Africa, China, India. It's interesting, today is the 500th anniversary of the Protestant Reformation. There's big celebrations going on in Wittenberg, Germany, celebrating Martin Luther and his 95 statements against the the Catholic Church at the time. So today is Protestant Day. And evangelicals form a large portion of that Protestant category, of course. What's interesting about the pro-Israel movement, I think it comes out of that Protestant Reformation. The anti-Semitism of Luther is well known and has caused tremendous damage. But before Luther went that direction, he inaugurated the Protestant Reformation by saying, let's look at the Catholic Church with respect to the Bible. And long after that controversy was over, he got people thinking about looking at the Bible, holding the Bible up as where you get your decisions from, not just what the head of a church is saying. And so that, I think, that fundamental change created this Bible, started this Reformation to go back to seeing what the Bible had to say. And even though Luther was anti-Semitic, his disciples, if you will, began to read the Bible for what it says about Israel. And as early as the late 1500s and early 1600s, you had Christians begin to write and say, Israel's going to be restored. It's got to be according to that. And so that was sort of the beginning. It took a long time for that to reach the percentages that we have today. I just think that the evangelical tradition, which is probably what I put myself in, has carried that vision of of believing what the Bible has to say, more than the other streams. So that's probably why today you see more evangelical with this pro-Israel attitude.
We don't ask our members what flavor of believer or of Christian that you are. So
it's an assessment.
Right.
Yeah. But it's a learning education for me also to learn about different kinds of Christians also.
Yes.
But it's mostly really different kinds of people. Ultimately, that's what I'm looking for, the personal relationship. Even though we have thousands of people, the people who reach out to us, each one of them I try to get to know personally. That's really what it all comes down to.
And within that pro-Israel group of believers out there, there is a growing desire to come and sit down and just relate, just share on common ground. And let's put, the Messiah issue aside, and let's because there's so much we agree on, let's find a way to, let's find things we can do together.
Yes.
And find projects we can work on together. And it's amazing how much Root Source, this was his vision, but this was a great vision from my standpoint. So, it's an example of that. We come together on a common ground. This is a good thing to do. How can I help?
Exactly. Gidon, your experience with pro-Israel Christians, I know that you were a member of the Knesset Christian Allies Caucus when you were in the Knesset. Could you share with us some of your memories, some of your experiences?
We did a mistake as a state during a long time, using only practical security, strategic arguments with regard to our cause, not using a language that so many people support us. I can tell you about one conversation I had a long time ago with late Prime Minister Ariel. He spoke with me about his meeting with the Pope in the Vatican when he was a foreign minister, 1998. He said, I came to the meeting and immediately the Pope asked me, do you know what is the difference between Terra Prometida and Terra Santa. And before I was able, this is what he said, before I was able to respond, the Pope told me, it is holy to all religions, but promised only to the Jews. And we will be able to shift decision makers around the world with the help of our Christian friends in so many countries.
We have here for you, Gidon, a copy of our first book that we wrote about 3 years ago, Bob.
Yep.
And it was based on, it was mostly came out towards the end of the blood moons phenomenon.
Gideon, you must write with E.
Yes, that's how that's how I
That's
spelled
how-
my, that's how I spelled my name when I lived in an English speaking country. But here I'm okay to spell it without the E.
Okay.
But I make sure to spell your name with an E. I recognize that.
That's the way it is written in the not in the Bible, because in the Bible it's
In Hebrew.
but that's a translation. Yeah, it's always with E.
And this book talks about the relationship between Jews and Christians. It talks about the biblical prophecies about those things, and we're happy to present it to you.
Thank you.
And I
Thank
hope
you.
that
Thank you. I want to invite all of you to come to visit Israel, to visit the land of the Bible. You cannot miss the fact that all the places are with the same names as they had thousands years ago, and this is why the Bible can be a very good guiding book to your trip, and I'm sure it will be a great spiritual and personal experience for all of you. So we expect you here.